Now, Novak Djokovic, the tennis world #1 player, has made international headlines after challenging the decision of Australian immigration officers to cancel his visa. He says he should be exempt from being vaccinated to travel because he has had COVID recently. Meanwhile, at home, student bodies could be headed for a showdown over university vaccine policies. To discuss, we're joined by the National Spokesperson of the South African Union of Students, Asive Dlanjwa. Thank you for being with us. Apparently, this is the topic of heated discussion at the moment within your union. Is that true?
Thank you very much, Francis, and greetings to you and to your viewers. Indeed, Francis, this is a very critical conversation and a debate currently within the higher education sector in South Africa. For a basic reason is that in the event that this is not dealt with, we stand to deprive thousands of students their constitutional right to access the institutions of higher learning. So you are absolutely correct. This is a conversation that is unfolding and unfolding absolutely fiercely.
Why are you saying that this could exclude any members of universities or students? Because firstly, it is free to get the vaccine, so nobody should be excluded on economic grounds. And then if you have a reasonable reason not to get vaccinated, most organizations, even with a vaccine mandate, will accept that.
It will exclude them, Francis, because number one, I think maybe let me start by clarifying for some viewers and some people who might have misconstrued our struggle to be that of anti-vaccination. As a union, we are fully behind and we fully support that all students should be absolutely vaccinated, as we believe that this will aid in ensuring that we get back a level of normality and that we can get back contact classes, as we have seen that majority of students for the last 2 years have not had contact classes. And as a matter of fact, it has had a terrible impact, at least on their results. However, Francis, what we do not agree with is that these students must be coerced and that they must be forced and that draconian measures must be used to get them to vaccinate. You are correct, the vaccination is free, but also it is correct to say that the Constitution of South Africa allows and gives them the right to determine whether they want to vaccinate or not. And we are saying they should not be forced against their will. This we are not going to accept, particularly in institutions of higher learning, because institutions of higher learning are spaces where we believe that reasoning, common sense, and intellectual debate and discourse should ensue using facts and science, not draconian measures. You can best believe and ask yourself, if in an institution of higher learning, we are using these measures to force people and we do not want to intellectually persuade them to vaccinate, what hope is there for other sectors of society? So that is what we are saying, is that institutions of higher learning must not be lazy and they must engage and use other means except for using mandates to get students to vaccinate. So this is why we are of the view that this might deprive, or to answer a question of how it will deprive them, what is going to happen is this. Institutions are saying students will only be able to enter campuses on the grounds that they have been vaccinated, meaning if they have chosen not to vaccinate, they are not going to get onto campus. And that is a problem for us because it means you will end up criminalizing students. Because what happens in the event that a student wants to get onto campus and access their basic right as prescribed in the Constitution to education, and they are told that they cannot enter because they have chosen to exercise their other right, which was not to vaccinate. Though you are therefore going to say, charge them with trespassing. From trespassing, you institute legal actions, and you will criminalize students for exercising their basic human rights. We can't allow that.
An argument that is sometimes used, and I'd love to hear your view on it, is that what is the issue since many schools in South Africa exclude students who are not vaccinated? If you want to get into some schools, you have to show that you've been vaccinated. If you want to travel to certain countries in Africa, you have to show that you have a yellow fever vaccine or some of the others. And that is not highly contested. What makes this COVID-19 vaccination so different?
You see, of course, with every vaccine and pandemic, there are many prevalent conditions that surround it that will inform how it is dealt with. With this specific one, absolutely every study, well, not study, but surveys that have been done, there's been at least a minimum of 52% of respondents who have said they do not want to be forced to vaccinate, number one. Number two, it would appear to us, if the majority of South Africans say we do not mind being forced to vaccinate, then we will stand it down, because it was again the majority of South Africans who empowered the Constitution of South Africa to say one must choose whether they must have the ability to determine whether any medical procedure, etc., can be administered on them without the necessarily their consent or outside their will. So if the majority of South Africans are saying we are in majority, we are unanimously, we do not mind forfeiting our right to choose this time, let government force us, then we do not have a problem, because it will be the will of the people. But as things stand, the society at large is opposed to being forced to vaccinate. In fact, and another reason, Francis, that is very important, is that we do not want the vaccine we do not want to be incredibility and issues of legitimacy around the vaccine. We want to protect the legitimacy and the credibility of these vaccinations, because we believe in these vaccinations. Yeah. But when you begin to force people, you are casting aspersions on that credibility and legitimacy of the vaccination.
Mr. Dlanjwa, we're running out of time. Thank you. You've explained your stance very quickly. So is there protest action on the cards at universities, and is there a constitutional challenge on the cards? I guess that would clarify all these issues around constitutionality.
We are going to do absolutely everything that is necessary within the confines of the law to ensure that all students have access to their campuses, whether they've been vaccinated or not.
All right, thank you very much. Spokesperson of the South African Union of Students, Asive Dlanjwa.